Wow. Do you know, it's getting everybody thinking, everybody talking, the fact that drama's happening, the fact that we've got an appeal, the fact that we've got the lawyer behind that appeal, and that's Rhona Friedman, who joins us now. Rhona, good morning to you. 20 years on, why wait 20 years?
Well, the delay has been caused by changes in science, advances in science that weren't available at the trial. And it's not unusual in complicated cases like this for appeals to take place sometime after the original conviction. This is a long one, I have to say. Science can move in some areas quite slowly, and where we've got to now is the ability to properly discern the many coughs. I think Philip was a bit off then in the interview, because he was comparing the This Morning studio to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire set, where you had 200 odd audience members, a lot of crew, and there was actually a lot of coughing, although Charles and Chris Tarrant didn't hear it during the recording. But I think, as will become clear in the TV show, and as was made clear in the play which it was based on, there was about just under 200 coughs during the recording.
And not all from their friend Tequin?
No, not all from Tequin, from other people in the audience. What we think we have managed to get to, and it's a work in progress, is for the first time identify where Tequin is coughing, both coughs that the prosecution would say were significant and other completely innocent coughs, which properly contextualise how often this poor guy was coughing. He had, I think it was accepted at the trial, 3 different respiratory conditions. He was a habitual cougher.
There were, well, I was looking at the original trial. They said there were 192 recorded coughs, Rhona. 19 of those were deemed significant. So you obviously have to have new evidence to put forward to get an appeal, don't you? So how confident are you that you have, using, as you said, new technology, that you've got enough evidence for this appeal to be successful?
Well, I think it's right to say that when things go wrong during a police investigation and at trial, it can be very difficult to put it right, certainly many years later. So you're pushing the rock up the hill. It's hard. But I think cumulatively, with work that's ongoing, I hope that we'll have enough to get the Court of Appeal to give us permission to look at this again.
So, Rhona, so no date set. You have to apply to get the appeal. That's and whatever. Right. Does the drama on ITV, and everybody's watching it, last episode tonight, does that help you in garnering more interest in all of this?
Yeah, it certainly helps with more interest, and I think the TV drama is structured very much like the play, I understand. So episode 3 tonight, if people have got to the position after episode 2 that they think, these 3 are pretty much bang to rights, there's something very dodgy going on, I think a lot of people will change their minds after episode 3. And I think that's a great fillip to Charles and Diana and Tequin Whittock and his family. And also for lawyers, they like to feel that there is a kind of momentum behind them, that the public are interested in the case and they think there might be something wrong with a conviction.
And is there any significance that they want to appeal now in light of this show being on air? Why haven't they done it before?
We've been working on this for a while, and I think people will appreciate when you're working with scientists and with experts, they're making discoveries, they're making progress, things need to be checked and rechecked, and it's not a seamless process. You kind of go back and forward on things. And so it's a bit of a coincidence that we've got to a point where we are with the legal preparations, and James Graham's play, first of all, last year, and now that his TV drama has come along.
Right, on the subject then of the TV drama and Charles and Diana as well, because I'd just like to talk about them as to what life has been like in the intervening 20 years. But as regards the drama, Chris Tarrant has said the following. It suggests that the coughing major might possibly be innocent of fraud, and that is blatant nonsense. It was a brazen attempt to cheat us out of £1 million, and by us, I mean the British public.
Yeah, I saw that interview, and as somebody who grew up with Chris Tarrant, he's a guy who shoots from the hip. I think the most interesting thing about Chris Tarrant's evidence at trial, which Helen McCrory has talked about, who's one of the stars of the show, is that he very fairly said when he gave evidence he couldn't hear any coughing. The guy was sitting kind of more or less kneecap to kneecap with Charles Ingram, facing the direction of Tequin Whittock, defendant number 3, and Charles and Chris Tarrant. The concentration involved in listening for Charles to the questions, thinking of the answers, Chris hosting, the music. I think one thing that the TV drama brought out is that there was pulses coming up through the chair, which sounds really bizarre, but the music was actually pumped up through the chair. And it was very difficult in that spotlight to be aware of anything else. So I think Chris is he's reached a position. He gave evidence. His evidence to the court was, I didn't hear anything. But of course, he's very wedded to the show, to his colleagues, who did, I think, convince him that something suspicious had been going on, which he wasn't aware of during the programme. And I think that speaks volumes. That says more than Chris's opinion now, I'm afraid.
And if there is an appeal, if you're successful getting that appeal, would you call Chris Tarrant to give evidence again?
Well, if there's an appeal, the appeal court can do a few things. It can overturn the conviction and the CPS can decide it's not possible to have a retrial. But the Court of Appeal have a say in that. They can order a retrial. So I don't know whether it would be possible, if we're successful, to have a retrial so long after the event. It would depend on whether original exhibits are still available.
I just want to finish by talking about Charles and Diana Ingram. Obviously, my goodness me, imagine even after all this time to get £1 million, to be actually, if you took this, you got your appeal, you won your case, they got £1 million, their lives would be changed. How were their lives changed by not winning, and by not winning in such circumstances? I mean, obviously he did win, but to have it taken away from him, what else was taken away from them in that 20 years?
Charles was career military. That was going to be his life. This quiz was a kind of diversion, and I think that the TV drama shows that it wasn't an interest of his. It came from his wife and his wife's family. And so for somebody who thinks that they're going to basically die with their military boots on, to have that taken away in such a spectacular way, to lose your reputation when you're a ranking army officer, was devastating.
But they did, Rhona, they did go on. I mean, they described themselves as victims. They did go on to appear in various other television shows after that: Celebrity Wife Swap, Hell's Kitchen, Celebrity Poker Club, Fear Factor UK, The Weakest Link. I mean, when you've been through, what is termed a scandal, they've said they were victims. Would you not? I think people would be surprised to know that they then went on to continue to be on television. Why did they do that?
Yes, it does seem to some people kind of an odd choice to get involved more with the medium that's in a sense kind of ruined you. But I think at that point they just thought in for a penny, in for a pound, and they were in a lot of financial difficulties. And I think for many years now they've been living lives of a kind of quiet obscurity, just getting on with things.
And you believe these two people are not cheats?
Yes, I think to do appeals like this, which are incredibly time-consuming, can take up many years of your life, if you don't actually have a belief that the people you're representing have been wrongly treated, that there's been a miscarriage, it's very difficult to carry on. And I can say to you with complete conviction, I think there was a miscarriage of justice in this case.
Rhona Friedman, we look with great interest as to whether you will get your appeal or not. We thank you for taking the time to explain all of this to us. And will you be watching the final instalment tonight?
I will. I thoroughly enjoyed all of it. I think it's been a brilliant production.
it doesn't turn out well. I don't want to be a spoiler here, but I'm just going to say there's a twist right at the end of it.
Thanks for that, Eamon. I'll look away right at the end.
Okay. And if you want to see that final twist,
thank you, Rhona.
Quiz is the final episode quiz on ITV at 9 o'clock.